On her first day back at school, after summer holidays, Autumn was delighted to see all her friends again. When they all filled the classroom and took their desks, the teacher said she had an announcement to make. Class, we have a new student this year. Her name is Dolly. Autumn looked at the new girl. She was really pretty, with long blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and pale white skin. Her features were so refined, as they looked almost too perfect, as if they had been carved from porcelain. The year before, Autumn had been the new girl at school, and she knew how difficult that could be. It had taken her a long time to make friends, so at lunchtime she made a point of sitting with Dolly. She wanted to help her feel welcome and help her settle in. "Hey, welcome to our school." Dolly looked up. "Oh, thank you," she said. Her voice was sweet and polite. "It's nice to meet you. What's your name?" "I'm Autumn. I was new once too. I know how it feels. You'll get used to it." "Yeah, I hope so," said Dolly. "I don't really know anybody here." "Well, now you know me." "Hey, if you like, you can come over to my house after school." "Sure," said Dolly, grinning from ear to ear. That sounds like fun. Over lunch, they talked about a lot of things. As it turned out, they had a lot in common. The two girls shared the same interests: clothes, hair, and makeup, and both of them also collected dolls. Autumn was actually surprised by how well they were getting along, and after only knowing each other for one day, she felt like they were the best of friends. Dolly was turning out to be really nice, smart, and interesting. She really was perfect, just like a doll. At the end of the day, when school had finished, Autumn waited for Dolly, and the two girls walked home together. When they reached home, Dolly took one look and exclaimed, "Wow, your house is so cool." "Really?" Autumn took a step back at this. "It's just a normal house. I bet yours is much cooler." "Definitely not," Prince said Dolly while grinning. The girls ran up to Autumn's room, and they really had fun, just talking about stuff. Autumn showed Dolly her collection of dolls, clothes, and her makeup. Then they went downstairs to watch TV. Not long after, Autumn's mother came home from work. "Is that your sister?" asked Dolly. "My sister?" Autumn laughed out loud. "No, that's my mom." "Really? Oh, she's so young!" exclaimed Dolly in amazement. Autumn had to go to the bathroom, so she excused herself, and when she came back, she found her mother sitting in the living room, deep in conversation with Dolly. "Autumn, your friend is so interesting and talented. Did she show you her trick?" "What trick?" Autumn asked. "She can do ventriloquism." "Go on, Dolly, show her." Autumn looked at Dolly. "You're able to throw your voice?" "Yes, of course," replied Dolly. Her lips never moved. That night, as Autumn laid awake in bed, she thought about her friend. She didn't know what it was, but something about Dolly unnerved her. Maybe it was the way she was able to speak without moving her mouth, or maybe it was because of how she always seemed so perfect. "I guess that's why her parents named her Dolly," she mumbled to herself. The name definitely fit her. Looking at the time, she turned off her lamp and rolled over and went to sleep. Suddenly, she heard a strange, high-pitched laugh. She shot up. Who was that? She was really scared. And she didn't hear anything else. She laid down in bed, thinking it was nothing. The next couple of days, Dolly came over a lot. One Saturday, Autumn went downstairs to ask her mom something. She heard the laughing 3 times that night, and she was kind of scared. When her mom saw her, she smiled, and the fresh smell of bacon and eggs filled the room. "How's the sleepover?" her mom asked. "Oh, it was..." Wait, she was awake now. "What sleepover?" Dolly sleeping over. Was it fun?" "Dolly didn't sleep over yesterday." "Autumn, I saw her at your bedroom door with her bags. She went up to your room. I heard you guys all night. She even came down and talked to me a little while you fell asleep. Stop messing around." Her mom was serious. "Mom, what are you talking about? Dolly wasn't here yesterday." Her mom stopped cooking and looked at her daughter in the eye. "Autumn, that's not funny. I've had enough of this. Go back up to your room." "But Mom..." "No, go." After that day, Autumn leaned over to Dolly in class the next day and whispered, "Hey Dolly, I know this might sound strange, but did you sleep over in my house last night? If I slept over, don't you think you'd know about it?" "Well, the thing is, my mom said you slept over last night. But I don't know what's going on." Forget about it. I think my mom is going senile." Dolly just smiled sweetly. The next day, Dolly was absent from school, and she didn't show up the day after that. Autumn began to think that it was very odd. Usually, she never missed a day of school. Something else struck Autumn as weird. Whenever Dolly's name was mentioned, one of the girls in her class named Brianna always seemed to cringe. Things were getting kinda weird, Autumn thought. When she walked into her room that night, she was sleeping. She was thinking deeply, so much so that she heard a scream. Except the weird thing was, the scream was hers. And sitting on her bed was a ventriloquist doll. No, it was a puppet. Its mouth was open. Its big eyes just stared vacantly at her. She ran downstairs to her mom to see if she put it in there as a joke. She ran to her room, Mom's room, and the lights went off. "Mom?" she asked, and scared to death. "Yes," as her mom sounded groggily. "Are you okay?" "I have a little cold, that's all." "I'm scared. There's a puppet sitting on my bed. Can I sleep with you?" "Sure." Autumn almost fell asleep and had calmed down when she heard the laughing. She burst into tears, and surprisingly, her mom stayed awake. The next day, her mom wasn't there. There wasn't any note or anything. She was really scared. After a week of her not coming back home, or of her mom not coming home, she decided to call the police. Dolly had come back to school and said that she was really sorry about her mom 1,000 times. They looked for her mom for a long time, and a week later, Dolly offered to let Autumn come to her house to make her feel better. She agreed, and after school, the two girls went on a sleepover. "What's that?" Autumn asked while pointing at a door, since her Dolly was giving her a tour and all. "Nothing," Dolly said sternly. I mean, Her voice got sweet again. That's my mom's study, so, don't go in there. Okay. That night, Autumn woke up and had to go to the bathroom, so she walked downstairs. This house sure is big, she mumbled to herself. Someone could easily get lost in here. She found out, and when she found what she thought was the bathroom, she opened the door. The second that it opened, she noticed that it was Dolly's mom's study, and was about to apologize when she noticed something strange. Instead of an office, it was a staircase leading down to what looked like a basement. Huh? She walked down. It was really dark, and she was starting to get scared. Eventually, she arrived downstairs to the lower floor, and she searched for the light switch. When she found it, she turned it on. The lights swung back and forth, and only got a glimpse of the terror that was there. What was this? Autumn's eyes grew wide as she saw the bodies all over. Strings that you could find on puppets were on them, attaching them to the ceiling. Their mouths were gashed open to look like puppet dolls, and some of them were open, with their mouths just dangling. Their jaw wasn't doing anything, though. She could see what looked like holes that were meant for someone to put their fingers in to make their mouths move. Then she saw something even worse than all of this. There was her mom in a puppet pose. She couldn't scream. This was the most horrifying thing ever, and she could only imagine what was going to happen next. She started weeping quietly, scared to death. Suddenly, she heard Dolly's voice behind her. Didn't I tell you not to come down here? This is your mom's study, Autumn said, crying now. Of course not. Look. She pointed at a human puppet in the corner. This one was polished and actually looked like it was wood. That's my mom. This is my art studio. She laughed. What? Autumn said as she backed up. Then she screamed when she hit a dummy. It's not all that bad. Dolly started as she walked over with some string. In fact, you're my next project.